Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's build a YouTube family together. Can you please subscribe my channel to show me support and help me to grow my channel? This is fifth and final part of the silent protocol. Let's start. The sirens grew louder, closer. Caleb could hear the faint rumble of approaching squad cars, the heavy hum of the sirens in the night air. But his mind wasn't on them. His focus was entirely on Jameson, on the man who had once been his mentor, his ally, and now his enemy. The air between them was thick with tension. Caleb's hands trembled ever so slightly around his gun, but the reality of the situation was settling in. There was no way out. Not without a fight. "You're running out of time, Caleb," Jameson said, voice calm as always, but now there was a sharp edge to it. A cutting finality. "The choice is yours. You can join us. Help us finish what we started. Or you can die here." The clock's ticking. Caleb's chest tightened. The cold, mechanical voice of Jameson rang in his ears, but something inside him snapped. He wasn't going to be a pawn anymore. "Enough of this," Caleb said, his voice low but strong. He leveled the gun at Jameson's chest, his finger resting lightly on the trigger. "You've been playing this game for years, but I'm done." Jameson's eyes flickered for a second. A flash of something: disappointment? Regret? Caleb couldn't tell, but the moment was brief, quickly replaced by the cold resolve Caleb had come to expect from him. "You're making a mistake," Jameson said. "You'll never get away from this. The protocols are already in motion. Malenko's alive, and he's going to." A sharp burst of gunfire interrupted him. Caleb's heart leapt into his throat as he whirled around, gun raised, ready to react. But it wasn't Jameson's men who fired. It was Victoria. She had aimed her weapon at Jameson, her finger just pulling away from the trigger as the shot rang out. The bullet didn't hit Jameson, but it ricocheted off the wall beside him, just inches away from his head. The message was clear. She was ready to kill him if necessary. Jameson's face twisted in shock, but Victoria didn't flinch. Her eyes were hard, filled with resolve. "Don't," she said, voice flat. "You're not the man I thought you were either, Jameson. I'll stop this myself if I have to." Caleb's mind was racing. What was happening? Victoria was not on his side anymore, but she wasn't on Jameson's side either. She had her own game to play. Jameson blinked, taking a step back, his posture still imposing despite the sudden shift in the balance of power. "You think you can stop this?" He spat, his anger rising. "You're both dead. All of you are dead if you try." But Victoria wasn't listening anymore. She took a step forward, eyes locked onto Jameson's. "The protocols are done," she said coldly. "I'm shutting it all down. The assets, the network. You're finished."
Caleb looked between the two of them. The tension was unbearable, the choice between life and death hanging in the air. He realized with startling clarity that there was no going back. Whatever he did now, it would shape the future whether he was part of it or not. And then he saw it, the faintest flicker of recognition in Jameson's eyes. A realization that things were slipping out of his control. He had one chance. "Victoria," Caleb said, his voice urgent. "We need to get out of here. Now." Victoria's eyes flicked to him, and for a brief moment, their silent communication passed between them. There was no trust anymore, not fully, but they were in this together now. Suddenly, a sharp click echoed in the alley as the sound of approaching footsteps drew closer. Caleb turned sharply, gun raised. A black SUV screeched to a halt in front of them. Several armed men, wearing tactical gear, poured out, their weapons raised. It was a full-on ambush. "You should have stayed in the shadows, Caleb," one of them called, his voice gruff. "But now we'll make sure the protocols go through. No one's walking away from this." Caleb's heart pounded as he fired first, quick and precise. The man fell, his weapon slipping from his grip. Victoria was already moving, shooting with the deadly accuracy Caleb had come to admire. In seconds, two of the operatives were down, but more were coming. There were too many. Caleb pulled Victoria toward the fire exit. "Go!" Now, they dashed up the stairs, racing toward the rooftop exit. Behind them, the sounds of gunfire echoed in the alley, but Caleb didn't look back. He couldn't afford to. When they reached the rooftop, the rain was heavier now, soaking through their clothes. Caleb could hear the helicopters approaching, their rotors slicing through the night sky. They were surrounded. Up there, Victoria shouted, pointing to a nearby building, the roof just a short jump away. We can make it, but we need to move now. Caleb nodded and took a running leap, barely making it to the other building's edge. He pulled himself up with a grunt, reaching down to help Victoria. Once they were both on the other roof, they dashed for the fire escape on the opposite side. But as they neared the stairs, Caleb heard a crackling voice through the earpiece he'd forgotten about. "Don't even think about it, Caleb." Jameson's voice cut through the static. "You're not running anywhere. We have eyes everywhere. You're not going to get away." Caleb cursed under his breath, but there was no time for more words. He and Victoria were now on their own. The sirens grew distant, the chopper noises fading. The operatives were still chasing them, but there was a momentary window of escape. They had to seize it. Victoria turned to Caleb, her face tense. "We need to end this, once and for all." Caleb hesitated, his mind racing. "End this? How could they stop something this big?" "We go to the source," Caleb said suddenly. "We find Malenko and we shut it all down." Victoria nodded grimly. "I know where he is." The end. And that's where it ends for now. The protocols are in motion, but Caleb and Victoria are still alive, still fighting, still racing against time. But will they make it? Can they stop the collapse that's coming? Only they know. And they're heading into the storm.